Okay, now I'm going to take you through the process of building an online flash banner. Okay, the first thing you do from the home page is choose Design Online, online flash banners. Okay, then you choose New to create a new one. Now there are three basic sizes, the three most standard sizes of flash banners that they're the only sizes that our pick and click system works with right now, are the rectangle 300 by 250, leaderboard 728 by 90 pixels, or the tower, which is a tall formatted flash banner. So you can choose any of those three. We have templates set up in all three sizes. I'm going to take you through the rectangle right now because that is the most common, and it's actually probably the easiest to see the content on there. The other one's a little bit skinny, but they're all good. Okay, so I click on rectangle, then I choose next. Now these new formats that I'm going to show you, they're called the split online formats because just the way graphically they look, they have an image on one side and text on the other, so we call them the split formats. Those are under the vehicle category because those tend to target an individual vehicle as opposed to a dealership. So choose vehicle and then click next. Now these two here are two new templates in the rectangular size. One is an expanding format which starts off in the 300 by 250, but when you roll over it, it expands to a larger format. And then this is just the standard 300 by 250 rectangle size. Now I'm gonna show you the expanding format because if you understand this, then you should have no problem building the basic ones. It's a lot fewer steps to build the basic, but this is going to be a little bit longer, but it also has a little bit more interesting content, so I'll show you that one. So click on the icon of the template that you would like to build and click next. And give it a file name. I'll call this online rectangle expanding split. It's a good idea to name things what they are so it's easier to find them later. So, and that's a demo, I'll call that. We can leave this as is, then click open to continue. Okay, now if you look at the preview area down here, you'll see that as you roll over the banner, it expands to become a much wider area. Once you're inside of there, as you roll over, you can also roll over the features, and you can see kind of a rotating selection of three images and some little text captions that you can put in there to highlight certain features of the car. And here it says offer, though it doesn't have to be an offer. Basically, you can put in any text here that you like. It doesn't have to have a price. It doesn't have to have any information at all. But the text is fixed to say the word offer. But again, you can put any text there to the right that you want, and I believe it'll make sense. Okay, so now we'll move down the left-hand side, and one by one we'll add these items, and then it will build the template. Again, you may have seen that it showed you the animation of the online banner, and you can click. There's a replay button on the bottom, so you can see that again. And you actually get a slightly different animation when it's not rolled over compared to when it's rolled over. When it's not rolled over, it looks like a standard 300 by 250 banner. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the logo. So I'm going to just go down the list. So I click on the square number to choose a logo. Okay, I'll choose Tom Wood Subaru. It doesn't really matter at this point, and click OK to continue. I'm just going to build you an example. Obviously, you can choose your dealership or whatever you want. Okay, and you may have noticed that the Tom Wood Subaru logo now is in place. So now the vehicle text title. This is where you type in the text. So for instance here, I'm going to build a 2013 Cruise. Okay. Now in these flash banners, these templates have been set up so that only the text really matters. The color, the formatting, and all that stuff doesn't make any difference because the template will force the text to conform to the template. So you can just go ahead and just type into the fields and not really worry about formatting, which is different from, you may have noticed, the microsite templates or some of the other ones where you can customize the color and the styling of the text. So okay, you may see now that the Chevy Cruze is in there, and we'll continue down the line. Car photo 1. This is the photo that appears at the bottom. This is a small car photo that appears at the bottom initially. And now I have a little cheat sheet here that shows you the images that are used in this banner are 3 sizes. That small car image I showed you, if you can find images 300 by 128, that's optimal, but you can, as long as the aspect ratio is approximately equal to that, it'll stretch it to fit. But you really, since flash banners are very file size sensitive, many ad services say that they can only be 40K, which is a very small size to fit a lot of animation and images into. So you have to kind of be pretty careful about kind of tailoring your images before you begin to build the banner. So if you're going to build the expanding one, for instance, I would have 3 images, I would have 5 images ready. This is actually 3. 5 images ready. I would have one small car image that will appear here where I showed you at the bottom. A big car image that when you roll over and it expands, you probably saw that background image, which is another kind of a beauty shot of the vehicle. And then there will be 3 small product or sub shots that will show features like the interior of the car. You could have a little illustration of someone signing, buying the vehicle or something like that. And any graphic that you think is appropriate that might want captions, those should be at 200 by 200 pixels for optimal file size on these. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that first car photo, which should be 300 by 128. Again, you may have seen in some of the other builders that you can select a subfolder by clicking here on this drop-down menu. And I've pre-created some, uploaded some images here and new online demo graphics, but that may not be available to you. And again, you may have to upload your own graphics, which you probably will have seen that process in one of the other tutorials. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in an image that's at that 300 by 128 here. I'm going to pick an accurate image, which is not the right car, but it will show you the process. So you click OK after you've chosen your image and give it a moment, and it should appear in the banner. Okay, you see the car there? Now the car is visible there on the bottom. Okay, now we can go ahead and build a number of these text fields. So I'll just go through, and you probably should prepare these in advance if you like, or you can kind of come up with them as you build it. But I'll just invent a few text fields here to show you. So you could say Cruze gets better mileage than the competition. And you can see the how many characters are left over by looking at the top. But then again, use your eyes to see perhaps when the text gets too small, you might want to cut back on your text, because it will automatically scale the text down to fit the number of characters into the available space. So bear that in mind. And text 1 basically means the first screen. Text 2 is the second screen. 3A and 3B sort of share the screen at the same time. 4A, B, and C sort of share the screen at the same time too. So that might help you build it. So you see, Cruze gets better mileage than the competition is the first line of text. I'm going to put a couple more here. Say Cruze is better in every way. And you can just go through and enter these text fields, and you'll see that they it's a pretty simple process. Using these templates, the text will always appear white on this dark background. So you cannot, if you try to colorize it, it won't colorize. So might as well not really even try. Okay, so text 3A, 3B, and 3C. So 3A and 3B. So text here. This is 3A. So you can get an idea of how this works. This obviously isn't very fancy text that would go into a normal car banner, but I think this may help kind of help you see how the the list of text items appears on the banner, and you can get a sense of what goes where. A little bit easier than in some of the it's a little more difficult on the banners to really understand this since it's animated. So okay, actually I'm gonna make this a little bit longer, because as you see, there's there was a little bit of space below there, so I might make this a bit longer, and you'll see when it gets to text 3A, it fills the screen a little bit better. So you may want to try a little bit of give and take as you enter your text, and take a look and make sure that you like the way that it looks on screen. Okay, now if you look, you'll see cruise is better in every way. That was 2. And now text here, this is 3A, okay? And now 3B was that smaller sort of subtitle at the bottom. So I will you can put whatever is appropriate in that text field. Okay, now watch them build on. Okay, there you see and now you can go ahead and build out these other items. These work the same way. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and kind of bypass those steps, but you'll see that, for instance, I'll put something here. Try the cruise today. And you'll see that even though some of the screens look different, they look like offers and things like that, they still will accept any text. You're not forced to choose a product from a module or anything like that might have been confusing in some other builders. Okay, and if you take a look, you'll see where it says try the cruise today under attractive offers. So that filled in just fine. Okay, now I'm going to move down to car photo 2, and as you look here, this is that big photo that I was talking about before. You see the picture in the background there, the car? Car photo 2 will be that one. And so for that one, you want an image a little bit longer and bigger, a 400 by 250 pixel image. So I'll go ahead and choose an image. Again, I'll go to the folder that I kind of pre-prepared with these graphics, but you'll have to upload your own. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll choose this one. I believe this is sized right. Again, that's a Subaru, but you know, the photo will fit there, so it will serve its purpose. Okay, now when I roll over, you see the Subarus back there now? Okay. So, now image 1, image 2, and image 3, these are the images that show up when you roll over features. Okay. So image 1 and image 3 have 2-part captions. That was just built to give you a little bit more flexibility. You can always leave a caption blank. You can highlight the text and just delete it. So I'll show you how that works here. So image 1, these are created at 200 by 200 pixels. So I'm going to again choose my image. Here I'll choose an interior shot of the car, the dashboard. And if you kind of look for this image, you'll see it as it rotates. Okay, and then I'll choose a caption. This is a steering wheel for the 2013 Chevy Cruze. Okay. Okay, and then caption 1B. This is more information. Okay, now I'll show you what that looks like as it rotates within the features area of the expanded banner. Okay, now as you roll over the features, watch, you see the steering wheel there, and this is a steering wheel information. The text that we typed in now will appear below. So we could fill in all these 3 images and all the captions and things like that, but I think you probably get the idea from here. So if in the interest of time, I'm going to move on now to these bottom 4 items. Dealer name and dealer phone number is information that and disclaimer text is information that appears only if a person clicks the More Info button. Normally that won't really appear in the banner, but it is important sometimes to get disclaimer information tucked into these banners. So this is where you put it, and also the dealer name and phone number allows the viewer to get the access to that information. So I'm going to put the dealer name here. And the dealer phone number, just like all the other flash banners. So this information will be tucked into the disclaimer area. Okay, and here's where your disclaimer text goes. You can paste this in from another document, but be careful of putting too many characters in there, because again, this can easily go, if you put 4,000 characters, it may go over the file size limit again. So I'm going to put in a simple disclaimer here. Okay, now here's the last step coming up, and it's called the click-through, and it's a little bit technical, but it's a special way that online advertising sites allow the flash banner to be clicked and redirect you to another web address. So the whole area of the banner is a hotspot, so that if you were to click on it, for instance, it says view nearest inventory here, but really the entire area outside of some of these other hotspots is a hotspot. So if I were to click on this right now, we could have it redirect to yahoo.com. To tell the banner to treat this as a variable, it's a little bit esoteric, but we've kind of created a system where if you type the word clicktag.com, and if you look here and see how various spellings, the safest is probably to use this spelling, clicktag.com, and basically by putting that in there, it tells the banner to treat this as a variable, and you really don't have to think about it too much. The short answer is, most of the time for this step, click through, you're going to put it just like this: lowercase click, no space, uppercase tag.com, and click OK, and you can kind of forget why it works that way, and that's how the system's been designed. There's something else that you can do, is also you can target a microsite. You can click on there and it will give you a list of microsites that are in the system, and you can select one of those and have it go directly to a microsite that perhaps you've already created. That's pretty much all there is to building this expandable banner. The simple banner, the 300 by 250 non-expanding banner, is actually much simpler. It's probably half the number of steps, if that, and you could probably build that in about 3 to 4 minutes if your artwork is already prepared. Again, you can hit the replay button to see it animate one more time. Okay, that's all there is to it. Thank you.